Here's how me and Finn are gonna flip a house, make $20,000 on the front end, and take almost zero risk. So you gotta understand the story and how we found this house. Though this house is very beautiful, Finn just drew it for us, it's not very beautiful right now. It's new construction, it's about halfway done. The seller started it and he ran out of money and now he needs help. He needs a partner like us. So we found him through our direct to seller marketing and we told him, hey, Mr. Seller, why don't we help you? Why don't we partner with you on this deal? So I told the seller, I'm like, I will actually give you $35,000 on the front end. This is gonna help him move and find a new place and just get him ahead a little bit. Now, when we came to renovating the house, I budgeted $130,000 to fix up this house and finish it up, okay? Now, but out of that, my cost, because I have contractors, my cost is $80K. That's my cost, okay? So we're building in $50,000 of profit. That's really important because we're locking in our profit from the very start. Got that one, Finn?
Yeah.
Okay, now Finn, typically when I'm doing this strategy, which is called what, Finn? The revive method, okay? We do this method all the time, but typically when I do this, I use a private money lender. But in this scenario, I had this thought today, literally as I woke up and I was thinking, I could use a bank because guess what? This house is free and clear. I could actually go to a bank and get a first position loan on this property and get it done without having to use a PML. So I can go borrow money at like 7-8% right now. So I went down to the bank. I went down to Chase. I'm just joking, Finn. I would never go to Chase to structure a deal like this, okay? Chase is a great bank for 0% interest credit cards, but when you're trying to flip a house, not so good, okay? So we went to a little local bank, not Chase, and I went down to them and I asked them, hey, could you finance this property? Well, my first roadblock was on my purchase and sale agreement, my purchase price is $35,000, and then I'm putting $130,000 into it. And my first bank told me, wait, we can't do a loan where the renovation cost is like, what is that? It's like 3 or 4 times as much. They're like, that won't work. So I got to thinking, well, what if I structure it differently? So I went and looked at it, all right? So our total cost, $35,000 plus $130K. My cost to do this deal is $165,000, right? But I'm like, wait, what if I could reverse engineer this and still make it work for the bank? And then you know what else I thought? I'm like, if I'm gonna go to the bank and borrow the money, this house is worth $400,000. The bank might actually give me 75% of that, which is $300,000. What if I went and borrowed that much? Now, Finn, I don't need to borrow that much because I'm gonna pay interest on it. So I was like, let's forget this. Now I decided, why don't I take a loan for $275,000, okay? You guys will see as I show you the math why I chose that number. Because when I go to the bank, right, the bank is gonna lend me they're actually gonna make me put a 25% down payment, okay? So my down payment was 25% of this, okay? So 25% of this is $68,000, okay? Now they're gonna loan me 75%, okay? So the loan amount is gonna be $206,000. Now let's start to add up these numbers and you're gonna be blown away how we're structuring this deal with no money out of pocket. So they're gonna give me this loan amount, okay? So I'm actually gonna plug this in over here because the seller is gonna give me a credit on the final settlement statement, right? So $68K has to come into this deal. The bank is going to require me to bring, again, 25, this is 25%. This has to be brought into the deal, okay? So $68K has to come in, right? Now the next piece is back to the 35, right? The seller needs $35,000. I agree to give him that much, right? Now back to the rehab. The rehab was $130,000, but actually my cost was $80,000. So this is where I'm gonna pay myself $20,000. I'm actually just gonna borrow $100,000 for the rehab, okay? So that covers my $80K plus my $20K profit. So now let's go back to this loan amount. This is the amount of money that's gonna come in when we close the property. That money is gonna be wired to the title company from the bank. So I have that much funds to pay out the rest of the deal. So again, $68K goes to my down payment, $35K to the seller, $100K to renovations. And now I have fully funded my renovations, or I have all the money that I need, okay? You add all that together and subtract it, I actually have about $3,000 left over. Guess what I could do with that? I could actually use that on closing costs, right? To where I have no money into this deal. Now this deal I literally structured today. I actually called my bank and I said, hey, how much would you lend on this house? And we worked off of a $275 purchase price. She told me, you know what? I'll lend you this much. This is your down payment. I talked through the exact scenario and how we're structuring it so she understood it and she could actually get it approved from her board. Now remember, this is not Wells Fargo. This is not Chase, right? You are going to a small local bank to get a deal like this done. The other call I made right after this was to my seller. And I said, hey, Mr. Seller, So this is how we're gonna do this. You're still gonna get your 35. We're gonna fund the rehab. And I told him, I'm actually gonna go use a bank on this, and I'm gonna leverage my credit to where I don't have to put all my cash into this deal. So now I have everybody on board. And the last final really cool thing about the Revive method is this seller, the reason he's on board with this is we have a profit share at the very back end of the deal. So back to this ARV of 400,000, when this is all fixed up at the end of the summer, if we sell it for 400K, we'll obviously pay some commissions, but then say we take that number from our loan amount, which will be 206, that is going to be our profit. We're actually splitting that up to where he's gonna get about 75% of that number, and then we'll get 25%. But remember, I already built in my profit up here and actually got paid on that. And then I'm gonna get paid a little bit on the back end. My seller, he's gonna be able to sell this house for top dollar. Everybody wins. Now, hopefully as you've been watching, you've been putting any comments or questions below in the chat, because I know this is a lot of numbers and not many people structure deals like this. But I also wanna invite you guys, if you have a unique deal that you're trying to figure out the structure from the bank financing, from structuring with a seller, maybe even using a private money lender, reach out and I'll help you work through that exact deal.